One of the things I get asked a lot on this app are why are Native American ceremonies or practices considered closed, and why are they not allowed to be recorded or documented? Now, this question is very nuanced and it is very tribe specific in a lot of cases. And, there's a lot of levels of complexity to this. I could do a whole series on it, which if you guys want, I can absolutely do that. But for now, I'm just going to explain one aspect of this that may not be exactly the answer you think it is. That is, why can you not record or document certain Native American practices? Now, if you ask just about any Native person who is a practicing Native or a connected Native person, they'll tell you basically the same thing. It's out of respect. And that is absolutely true. Native American people, by culture, are an oral traditional people, meaning that our teachings, our songs, our stories are often told through voice rather than through writing. Now, one of the common misconceptions is that Native American people did not have written language, which is not true. Native American people have a long tradition of having pictographs and petroglyphs, hide paintings. A lot of Mesoamerican cultures had actual written language, and some turn of the century advancements in language and reading and writing include things like the Cree and Ojibwe syllabics. So it's not that we didn't have the means to document our ways, we just chose not to. And that is because they say that when you write those things down, that you rob the ceremony of the spirit. Much of the same reason why you see people who prefer to read real books rather than read something digitally online or something like that. It just doesn't carry the same type of essence. There are also protocols for telling certain stories. They only be done certain times of year. By documenting or writing them, you would be violating the protocol of that story or of that song or of that teaching. That applies to a lot of different aspects of Native culture, specifically a lot of spiritual practices. However, there is another reason for this that has to do with legality. Most people don't know is that prior to the year 1978, Native American religious practices or Native American spiritual practices were actually outlawed by the United States. So much for that whole freedom of religion thing. It didn't apply to everybody. Native American spirituality is the heart and soul of who we are and a source of strength. And during a time where there's westward expansion and colonization, Native resistance was frowned upon. Shocker. So in an attempt to break the spirit of Native people, the government passed these laws, rather didn't apply their own laws, to Native people, protecting their religious freedom. And prior to the 1920s and 50s, Native American people weren't even considered U.S. citizens. To stop the resistance towards relocation and treaty signing and all the other things, take away their source of strength, their spirituality. So if you were caught prior to 1978 practicing specific Native ceremonies, it was in violation of the law. And those charges included things like vagrancy, heathen practices, pagan practices, or something like disturbing the peace. Unlawful gatherings, that's another one. These charges could include things like jail time, taking away your federal benefits or treaty benefits, hard labor, and reduction of food rations. And many people chose to continue practicing Native spirituality and ceremonies in secret. In order to protect our medicine people and ceremonial leaders, they were said not to document because they don't want to get caught. Native American people had very few rights. And all it would take is a home raid or some type of occupation on tribal land for them to receive these tapes, whether audio or video, and be able to identify the people on those tapes and then send them to jail or give them the other list of punishments for practicing Native ceremonies. Because let's face it, prior to the modern era, other than writings and petrographs and those types of things, audio equipment and video equipment didn't really exist or were accessible within Native communities the way they are today. It just wasn't a thing. But the respect thing is a practice and it is a traditional teaching. The other side of it does have a more modern take to it. It is a newer thing, and that has been adopted over time to fit the respect aspect to it. It also has roots in self-preservation, cultural preservation, and protection for our knowledge keepers and our ceremonial leaders and our spiritual leaders within our communities. So what brings us to today. And these practices have very real roots in both the legal and traditional belief systems. Now, again, this is nuanced, Not everyone's going to see it always the same way. It's important that you always ask, or that you find out. Don't ask questions, whatever, in a respectful way. But I wanted to share that with you guys because this, again, something I get asked all the time, and I hope that this was informational to you. You guys want to know more? Comment down below and let me know. So the more you know.